Everything that is matter is a very long-standing and therefore very evolved, that's why we use the term sophisticated thought. And you have to understand, this is really good, we've not been here before. This time-space reality that you all acknowledge is tangible, seeable, hearable, smellable, tastable, touchable. It wasn't just thought into being. It is held into beingness by continuous thought. Have you ever seen how an abandoned house disintegrates?
Yeah.
Isn't it interesting? Stood there all those years. The wood held up. The curtains held up. And it isn't because the bugs moved in, friends. It's because attention was withdrawn from it. So the holding of it in its reality ceased. Make sense? You like that. That's good. Leading edge. So we'll say it again so that we can come back to this powerful place. This matter, this tangible, seeable, hearable, smellable, touchable reality that you all are enjoying so much wasn't just thought and then forgotten. It was thought and is remembered. Remembered by those of you who are present and calling it forward, and remembered by those like us who are focused through you into it, you see. As you do your best to de-emphasize the energy around the specifics of the unwanted, then you begin to vibrationally move. So let us be very clear about this. When you really, really know that you don't want something, that means you really, really do know what you do want. But there's a stronger vibrational tug of war going on in that, that you can accomplish, but it takes more focus. If you sort of know you don't want it, then you sort of know you do want it, and it's easier to make that, except you have less inspiration to do it. In other words, sometimes the things that bother you the most are the things that bring the most inspiration from you. When something really, really bothers you, what you really, really want is really, really strong. It's just that you have to overcome all of that, what you really, really don't want. And we think most all of you are working too hard at all of this. We want to say to you that there could be 10 really important things that you want, and 9 of them not working out at all right now. If you're taking score, having conversations with your girlfriends, blogging about it, joining lists about it, what you're noticing is hardly everything's working. There's just this one thing that's working. And we want to say, if you would focus upon that one thing that is working and use it as your basis of your point of attraction, the other 9 things would come into alignment, and they would come into alignment fast. But most people are so problem-oriented that they feel like they have to get to the bottom of the problem. And we want to say to you, there is no bottom. There's no bottom, because it gets deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. The more specific you are, the deeper it gets. So stop it and go general. And as you go general, then what's really delicious is to keep reaching for the improvement that is also never ending. In other words, it is such a wonderful thing to stand where you are and know that you're not where you want to be. But know that you're in a good place, mostly because you know that you're not where you want to be. In other words, my guidance system is showing me that I am offering a vibration that isn't serving me right now, and that's a really good thing to know. So now you're working. We've offered processes. Every process we've ever offered is to assist you in releasing resistance and move more in the direction of what you're wanting. Pick the ones you like, leave most of them alone, and just do what we're telling you today, because it's the thing that's the most efficient from where most of you are. Just go general and you'll feel better. So as you go general, as you are feeling better, what happens is then the manifestations begin to occur to you. The first manifestations of what is wanted that begin to occur is an emotion. Next, you will begin to feel some thoughts will come into your mind. It feels like inspiration. Next, people will begin commenting. Things begin moving. In other words, it happens really, really fast. The manifestations begin to reflect your improved vibrational stance. So now, what has just happened? I knew what I didn't want, which meant I knew what I did want, sort of, although I couldn't speak it very clearly. But I did know that I wanted to feel better. So I did my best to find better feeling thoughts. And in doing so, I came into alignment with what I wanted, where formerly I was more in alignment with the absence of what I wanted. So now I'm more in alignment with what I want. And now I stand in this new place because manifestations that support my movement have now taken place. And now my set of contrasting experiences has shifted. It's improved. It's still contrasting. It's shifted. It's improved. It's changed. So now I start again. I start sifting through the contrast, know what I don't want, know what I do want. But I'm not practiced at what I do want. I'm more practiced at what I don't want. So I look at it, I think about it, I talk about it, I try to find the general place of it, and I start enjoying the deliciousness of getting more specific about it. And as I'm more specific about it, as it manifests to the specifics that I have specified, I begin to feel my worthiness return. I begin to feel my power. I begin to remember who I am. I begin to notice the correlation between the specific things I'm asking for and the specific things that the universe is giving me. And now they manifest. And now I'm off and running. Oh boy, I can feel the power of the universe. But did that mean that the universe took all negative things away? Is it now not possible for me to find out that dolphins are being herded and eaten? Is it now possible for me? In other words, did the whole world turn good just because I spent a day in the vortex? No. Right. It's still the same wonderful, diverse place that you knew it would be when you came forth to sort and sift through it in order to decide what you wanted. So there it still is in all of its diversity, but you are controlling the diversity more because you are more in the vortex. Now you don't have this much of the world to choose from. Now you have more like this much of the world to choose from. You've already honed it down. Now you're choosing from things I like and things I really like and things I really, really like rather than things I really, really like and things that I abhor. In other words, as you keep honing your energy and keep fine-tuning your energy, the universe is delivering to you more of what you want. Now you're getting more specific, and now it's delivering more specifically, and now you're getting more specific, and now the universe is delivering more specific, until in time, and not very far from now, you begin to feel the reason that you came forth into this physical experience. Not to fix broken things, but to be inspired to new joyful becomings, you see. So let's say you're focused in your body, as you are, here you are, clumps on chairs, a beautiful room, magnificent city. Here you are so poignantly, vitally, physically alive, right here, right now. And as you're here right now, appreciating something, so watch this. You were non-physically focused. A part of you came forth into this consciousness. You gave birth to more. The source energy part of you became it. And right now, you're allowing the fullness of that back into your physical body. The fullness of that back into your physical body. And the thing that we want you to hear above anything that we ever say, although we have to tell you it's about the only thing we ever say. The thing that we want you to feel mostly is that this is why you be here in this physical body. You said, I'll go and figure out how to be more. And then I'll figure out how to line up with more so that all that I am can be pointedly with me in this leading edge moment, experiencing the more. You see? So if we were standing in your physical shoes, we would be milking our current reality for every delicious thing that we could focus upon. We would be making lists of positive aspects. We would be doing rampages of appreciation. We would be doing anything and everything that we could do to extract a keen awareness, a sharp, specific awareness in ourselves right here, right now, of the beauty of that which is. But if we find ourselves in a moment where the beauty isn't dominant, where the beauty isn't compelling, where the beauty isn't even seeable because of what we are focused upon, then we would not try to wring it from the manifestation. We would instead find our way into the vortex, the emotion of feeling, knowing that if you can do that, that the vortex will then give you immediately a more pleasing manifestation. And at first, the manifestation will be emotion. Next, it will be trains of thoughts will begin to come. Ideas, inspiration. Next, it will be others collaborating. Next, it will be heaven and earth moving to accommodate you in whatever you want. In other words, there's no limit to the details that manifestations will bring. So that leads us to what we talked about just before segment of refreshment that we were really wanting to talk about. Because every moment that you are conscious, you have this abiding awareness, you cannot get away from it, of your relationship between who you really are and all that you've become and how much you're letting in. In other words, in every moment you're having a manifestational emotion, an emotion that is a manifestation in every moment. If you're bored, it's a manifestation and it's telling you about this relationship. If you're excited, it's a manifestation in this moment that's telling you about this relationship. If you're fearful, it's a manifestation that's telling you about this relationship. In other words, you can't stop having a feeling, can you? Isn't something that you say constantly how I feel? Well, I feel this or I feel that. Aren't you aware of how you feel? I feel tired. I feel happy. I feel bored. I feel hungry. Well, hungry, that's a little different. I feel these emotions. I feel all day long. I feel bored at work. I feel uninspired at work. I feel inspired. I feel happy. I feel happy in talking to you. I feel unhappy in talking to you. I feel frustrated in this conversation. I feel exhilarated in this conversation. I feel. You do. You're having those feeling manifestations all day, every day. All day, every moment that you are conscious, you're having this awareness of this relationship, this vibrational relationship. So when you get it, that this manifestation is happening constantly, and that you have much more leeway and latitude in how you feel than just observing what is, now you've got it. Now you're free. Our strongest desire is that you accept that which you call source energy, or that which you call God, is doing the creating that you've all been reveling in or revering right here through you in this time-space reality. That when you have that moment of delight in a new idea, that is you and Source together reveling in the eternal expansion of this universe. And it's worth celebrating right then and there. And that's what that elation that you feel is. That's that celebration that you and Source are having together, you see. And when you feel afraid, when you feel fearful, when you feel angry, when you have those negative emotions, it doesn't mean that Source is feeling those. It means that you're feeling something so bogus, so apart from the way the Source energy feels within you, that it has to equal the opposite compensation. In other words, who you really are feels so good. When you pinch yourself off from it, isn't it logical that you would feel really bad? So as you begin to understand that your emotions have always been your guidance system to let you know one thing and one thing only. How am I in my physical body right out here on the leading edge resonating with the source of all that I am? Is there full resonation, or am I off the beam in some way? So we've been talking for quite a while about this emotional scale that goes from despair and depression all the way up into ecstasy, with some of everything in between. And now we're presenting an emotional scale that is less detailed, and it goes like this: specifically negative, generally positive, specifically positive. Because we want to emphasize that if something's gone wrong and you're feeling specifically negative, because there's lots of details that have filled in that are frightening you or angering you, that your dominant intention is just to get as general as you can about it, which means talk to people less about it, or if you're talking to them, talk in more general terms, rather than saying why you hate that person and the details of all the things that they've done wrong to you. Be more general by saying things like, I'm uncomfortable with that person and I don't want to talk about why. In other words, the more general you are, the less powerful the frequency is, the less attractive the frequency is, and the easier it is to move into a generally good feeling emotion. And once you find that generally good feeling emotion, then the details will fill in. You intended, when you came into these physical bodies, to explore variety. Yes, you did. And you never asked for a feathered nest. Not one of you said, I'll go forth, but please make sure everything's just the way I would like it to be, so all I have to do is just observe my environment. Because all of you knew that you wanted variety to help you to focus your improvements into place, because you are a creator, you see. You know how you don't like it when somebody else bosses you around all the time? You don't like it because you came to explore and to come to your conclusions, because you know you have the resources of all that is backing you up to flesh it out and fill it in for your surprise and delight and satisfaction, for the details of all that you are. You knew that that was what creation is about. You didn't come to fix things that are broken. You came to create things that are new. You came to explore and discover new combinations with new juxtapositions of new experiences. You intended to give birth to desires because you are an eternal creator, and eternity and evolution and continual evolution of desire is all the same thing. You can't be eternal and stand still. And so you were born into the most extraordinary, diverse environment where new desire would be, you knew it for sure, would be inspired within you. And when that inspiration occurs, it radiates vibrationally like rockets of desire. And as that radiated desire moves forward,